Hi, I'm Scott Wilson. My family and I live in Wainfleet. Although there's an election around the corner, I believe Councillor John McClellan should be removed from office immediately. Not later, immediately. Why? Because of the comments he made in public township meetings. Comments about residents, comments about fines, comments about people being punished under the short-term rental bylaw, and one comment, in my opinion, that raises serious questions about prejudice, classism, and respect for working people. You are going to hear John McClellan, in his own words. He knew these meetings were being recorded. But before you see and hear those clips, let me give you the foundation. For more than 100 years, people have come to Wainfleet for its beauty, the lakes, the rivers, the forests and beaches, the fishing, the peace and quiet. Families have driven here for generations to swim, fish, cottage, spend weekends on the shore, and support local businesses. Tourism is not something new in Wainfleet. In fact, it was founded on tourism. Tourism is part of who we are. Then the township passed its short-term rental bylaw and everything changed. What they will tell you is that this was about a handful of bad operators. But that is not who got hit. The people who got hit were ordinary families, pensioners, young couples, cottage owners, people who rented their place a few weeks a year to help cover rising taxes, insurance, maintenance, and property costs. People who were not causing trouble, people who had done nothing wrong. And here's the part that should stop everyone cold. The councillors knew innocent people would be harmed. On the record, in their meetings, councillors admitted that to go after a small number of problem properties, 95% get caught in the crossfire. Those were their words. They knew innocent people would pay the price, and they pushed ahead anyway.
If all the owners were as good as you say you are, we wouldn't be writing a bylaw. The problem is 80% of the people are as good as you, or try to be. It's the 5 to 10% that are crazies that we have to control. And the only way to control it is you have to control everybody.
Now listen to how Councillor John McClellan talked about the fines. In his own words, on video, he said the penalties had to have teeth that are going to hurt. He looked at $2,000 fines and called it a joke when you're getting $1,000 a night. Well, not all properties get $1,000 a night. Some get far less.
They all have to have teeth that are going to hurt. It's not a $50 fine, Lindsay. It's a $500 fine if you're over, because $50 they'll just pay it, and we'll have. So you got to put teeth in all of this.
Then he pointed across the border to Massachusetts, where fines could start at $5,000 and then climb to $10,000, $15,000, and $20,000. That is the model he seemed to admire. Not fairness, not proportionality, not helping residents comply. Pain, suffering, punishment, financial destruction. And when he talked about families who found a way around the rules, he started to call them criminals. Then he caught himself and said, I won't call them criminals, but he already had. That is how he saw people in his town, not as residents, not as neighbors, not as taxpayers, as people to punish.
As a whole, he has said, better to be heavy-handed at first, and then we can back off afterwards, than to have this thing blow up in our face and nothing works. Because to be Ubers running all over town delivering coffee and donuts every morning. So, I'm sorry, but that's what happened, Lynn, and it went against what I wanted to do in the beginning. And I think all of us were in the same boat. We didn't want to do that to any of them. But when the criminals find, I won't call them criminals, when the other people find ways around it, loopholes, you have to shut the loopholes.
At another council meeting, Councillor McClellan called the people targeted by this bylaw the crazies and the dummies that can't follow the rules. Then, to a resident sitting right in front of him, he said, I feel sorry for you. I don't believe Councillor John McClellan feels sorry for anyone.
So unfortunately, you get caught in a trap because of the bad operators, right? I feel sorry for you. I've gone through this. My kids are your age. I've gone through this argument with them in the same thing. But unfortunately, we write Most laws in this country are written for the 5 to 7% of the dummies that can't follow the rules. So I feel sorry for you.
I believe those comments reveal contempt. Contempt for residents, contempt for people who question the bylaw, contempt for families trying to survive in a town where cost keeps going up and local government keeps making life harder. And then there is his comment about Uber drivers running all over Wainfleet. That comment deserves attention. Uber drivers are working people. Many are new Canadians. Many are immigrants. Many come from ethnically diverse backgrounds. Many are people working long hours, late nights, and weekends to build a better life for their families. And they deserve dignity. They deserve respect. They do not deserve to be used as a punchline by an elected official. When a councillor talks that way, it says something about his mindset. It raises serious questions about whether he respects working people. It raises serious questions about whether he respects people from different backgrounds. And it raises serious questions about whether decisions in Wainfleet are being made with fairness, maturity, and respect for all members of the public. That kind of behavior is embarrassing. It's beneath the office, and in my opinion, it's un-Canadian. Now let's talk about what these fines actually look like. Under this bylaw, fines can reach $10,000 per owner, per dwelling, per day, climbing by $5,000 each time and capping at $20,000 per owner, per dwelling, per day. And because the township fines everyone named on the title separately, a husband and wife who own the same home together can be fined twice for the exact same alleged offense on the exact same day. That is how ordinary families end up staring down life-destroying fines. My wife and I were assessed fines totaling $80,000 per day, per type of fine. Why? Because we were fined $20,000 each, one fine for allegedly running a short-term rental, another fine for allegedly advertising a short-term rental, and we have 2 dwellings on our property. Based on registered mail we received, which clearly states that fines accumulate daily for 365 days a year, the township's own position would mean that we now owe more than $200 million. $200 million. The township has only migrated over $200,000 in fines onto our property tax bill. Why did they stop there? In my opinion, they got embarrassed. I think they realized that if they kept going, the numbers would expose how absurd, abusive, indefensible this system really is. But it already does. Laurel was a pensioner here. She closed her Airbnb the moment she learned about the bylaw. You could not even book it. The listing was shut off. She was fined $10,000 anyways, just for the ad. Then her neighbors told her a bylaw officer had come around photographing her house and her car. Laurel could not handle what she saw as unlawful treatment and bullying, so she sold her house at a loss and left Wainfleet in her rearview mirror. Samantha Brace was fined $20,000 while her property was rented to a long-term tenant with a signed lease to prove it. When she asked the mayor for a meeting, she was told it was now a legal matter and out of his hands. And that's the trap. You do not get a day in court. You do not get to stand before an independent judge in the ordinary way most Canadians would expect. The only appeal is through township-controlled process involving a township employee and a township subcontractor. And if you do not pay, they move the fines onto your property tax bill, and from there they can move to take your home. They've already started that process with me. And this does not stop with homeowners. It hurts everyone. The landscapers, the cleaners, the handy people, the restaurant, the farmer's market, the little chocolate shop in Wainfleet. Every small business that relied on visitors coming to Wainfleet is being crushed. This is what Councillor John McClellan helped create, a bylaw that punishes ordinary families, a fine system that can reach absurd, life-destroying numbers, a process that gives residents no fair path to defend themselves, and public comments that show contempt for the very people he was elected to represent. That is why we formed the Wainfleet Association of Responsible Short-Term Rentals. That is why we are suing to quash this bylaw, because it's not only about Wainfleet. The system behind this, the administrative monetary penalties, is ripe for abuse. And that is what's happening here. And it can happen to anyone in any town in Ontario. Councillor John McClellan's comments are not just embarrassing. They reveal the attitude behind this bylaw. Punish people, mock them, fine them into submission, and then act surprised when families fight back. Well, we are fighting back. This is our town. Join us at wainfleetwars.ca.